Hi, it's Madison and welcome to my first makeup video. So I'm sorry if it looks weird or I talk weird. I'm like nervous right now, so bear with me. Alright, I already moisturized my face and got that out of the way so it didn't take up time in the video. Alright, so I'm gonna go with some primer. I have the e.l.f. Jelly Pop. It's honestly been my favorite. It just like adds like a tacky grip for your foundation to lay really well. I never really put any on my eyelids because I have dry skin there and it'll like make it appear more than it already makes it appear. Nothing ever hides it really. It's psoriasis, it's kind of there forever. Alright, next I'm gonna go in with the Fit Me Dewy and Smooth by Maybelline. It's a foundation that works for me. And it's cheap too, so I mean, you can't beat it. It has a pretty coverage for my skin. Everybody's different. You gotta find out what works best for you. So I'll just go in with a damp beauty blender and just kind of pat, pat, pat. Make sure you get down your neck, because I've seen some people with just like rings down from their jawline. No, girl, you gotta blend down there. I put a little bit on my ear because my ear's a tiny bit red, to just like help it blend better. And I like how this foundation like is buildable, because you can really make it full coverage. Down my neck, ear over here. Then I just kind of like to go around and pat for a little bit, because when I put my powder on, I don't want it to look cakey. And if it's a little wet, it'll pop up and make it look cakey looking. I'm gonna go in with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer and just kind of get down here, because when I go to contour my nose later, it'll help it create that illusion. So you just kind of want to go right down the side here and bring out a little bit. I don't like to do a lot right here, because when I go to contour, I want things to look slimmer and just create that illusion that my cheeks aren't as chubby as they are, even though, girl, if you know me, I've had chubby cheeks forever. And then I just take that right here to create that like effect. Because if you bring the concealer all the way down here, it'll bring attention to that part of your cheeks, and that's not what I want. So I just do the trouble part, and do the same thing over here with the line on the nose, if you want to contour your nose. And just bring a little bit like mid-eye. Don't do like all the way down. And just swoop up. Then I do the points that I want to highlight, so I go in right here, then I kind of exclamation mark my nose, like that. And right here, and then on the sides, there's a tiny bit on my Cupid's bow. And I'm gonna go in and just blend it all in. I'm just kind of careful with my nose, because I don't want it to smear in places that I don't want that highlight focal point to be. So I'm just very delicate right there. All right, now I'm gonna blend that. Alright, I'm gonna go in with powder now. This is probably the most expensive thing I have that I put on my face. I usually try to do like drugstore stuff, Walmart stuff. It's the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. It literally just makes you look so airbrushed. It's so pretty. And I want to go back in with like my foundation side of my sponge and just make sure that underneath my eyes are blended out, because if there's a crease there, that powder will make it look 10 times worse than it is. Right, then I take just like the side of my beauty blender and just go underneath my eyes and pat it down really gently. Do the same thing with the other side. Just really gently. You don't want to press really hard because it'll pick it back up off of your foundation and it'll look like blotchy kind of. Alright, I'm gonna go back in with the foundation part of my nose real quick and blend that out before I add powder. Just gonna go in there with the powder with the brush, not the brush, the beauty blender here. And I go back down here and pat with the foundation side. I pretty much do that before I add powder anywhere. Just make sure it's like blended and not really creasy and wet. Alright, now that I did that, I'm going to go back in with like a powder brush and just make sure that my neck's covered well, because I don't like to take the sponge down to my neck. It feels weird. So just tap off the excess and just go for it. Just make sure you have it everywhere. I like to like take the back of my hand and feel my face to make sure it's not like wet still, because then when you go to do your contour powder, it's harder to blend because your foundation's still wet, so it like embeds itself into that spot that it's wet. For that, I'm gonna contour now. I like to contour my nose first. I kind of go in with like a kind of like packing eyeshadow brush, but it helps me do my nose contour really well. Then I'll take like a fluffy eyeshadow brush and blend it out. And I take like this Complex Culture. It came in my Ipsy bag. It's really pretty on my skin, so I've been using it since. I'm going to take a mirror so I can get closer to my nose, but I kind of want to like go where you see like my eye socket. Start right there and then just go down. Then just kind of curve under the tip of my nose. Just kind of tuck it under my nose. I take that fluffy eyeshadow brush I was talking about and just blend it out. Everything always looks so crazy like as you're doing it, but you'll see the full product come together at the end. So I try not to stress myself out about that. Then once I like bake right in here, it won't look as muddy. But right now, that's like the only thing going on right now, so it looks a little weird. Alright, and then I kind of go underneath my bottom lip to make it look more pouty. Just take that same eyeshadow brush and buff it out. See how it creates that like pouty effect. Alright, then I want to take like an actual contour brush and go into my cheeks. Just kind of pat on there. Then I blend up in little tiny circles. It just helps create that like chiseled effect. And even if you're not sure where to contour, I always do like a fishy face I learned that in theater, actually, back in high school. Just go up. And I'll go in right in here because I hate my hairline, so I just want to create that illusion that my forehead isn't as big as it is. Because you know, why do you need a surgery if you have makeup? When I tried to do this, I had a wig on, and it was so hard to get right in here. Because I always try to bring down my wig, that way I can hide my real hairline, and it was complicated. But I made it work. Always try to make things work. You just gotta be confident. Honestly, you can sell to anybody. And I hate how like boxy looking my chin is. So I just kind of like go on the sides a little bit and make it look little round chin. And just kind of take it down a little bit. I'm gonna go into my jaw and just lightly go in with some contour. Just very lightly. You don't want to go too ham. And just blend a little bit up and then the rest of the way down. See how it makes my jawline look a little slimmer and more prominent. See how it's already like giving me shape to my face other than just a square blob. I'm gonna go in with baking powder. I use a completely different powder than my setting powder. I use the Candid Revlon Ready. I'm about to say Photoshop. It just like is brighter for my skin tone and like helps it draw it out and brighten stuff up. But this powder will show up really bad if you have dry skin. So try not to use a lot of it. So I just go right in here underneath where I did my contour. Just kind of pat it in there and bring it down. And then I kind of go right in here where my eye is to help create that highlight effect. I try not to leave my under eyes on for too long because I have a little bit of dry skin under there. So I'll be wiping that off probably as soon as I get everything done with the powder. See how it's going to help my nose look more slim and the way I wanted it to look. Then I just kind of go back in where I did all my concealer and just put it down there. But down here where I did my chin, I try to just put a little bit to create that small chin illusion. Just a little dupe. Then I like to go underneath my contour just a tiny bit, just to give it some shape. Like that. See how it helps the contour look more suctioned in there. Just a tiny bit. You don't want to do too much. A lot of people bring it down to like their lips. I don't like doing that. It makes my face look weird personally. Alright, I'm gonna go in and wipe off the small parts that I just did. That way I don't want it to stay on there for too long. The only one I leave on for long is the side of my nose. Right now I'm gonna go in with brows. The best brow brush I've ever used is by the Anastasia Beverly Hills. I think it's number 12. Yes, it is. Then I go in and brush my hairs. I shave my brows if you can't tell. It just helps me draw them on better. Just brush out all the powder that was placed on there accidentally. And that way when I draw it on too, it'll help me like follow the guide instead of my hairs being everywhere. Godsend. Godsend. I use this every day. Well, most of the time when I'm not depressed. When I like wear a wig, I try not to go as dark as this unless the wig's dark, because then it just looks crazy. And I just try to stop around the end of my eye, and then that's when I do like the arch. It's just go in there and just kind of go down. And I try not to worry too much about it if I mess it up, because I can always go in and fix it with concealer. So if you mess up, just breathe. Take a minute, hit a little bit of something and go on with your life. Just continue. So it's always good to take a break when you're doing makeup, especially if like you're not used to doing it a lot, so you don't have the muscle memory to like know what you're doing. And if you're trying to learn something new, it is frustrating because you don't always get it the first time, but that's what practice is for. Practice makes perfect. I've been doing brows a while, and when I first started doing brows, they were a hot mess. They were like too thick. They look like Sharpie brows. They were just crazy. And I just bring it down to the corner of my eye there. And then you see like where my hair stops, I go back in with powder to help make the illusion look better. But right now I'm just gonna kind of make little fake hairs with my brush and blend out to the where I have like my contour line kind of. That way it helps with the effect of my nose looking smaller. Just put a little bit of hairs. Just little tiny pressure. Don't do a lot, because it'll come out darker than you want it to. You kind of want to like gradiate it out. You don't want like prominent, like stamp brows. But if you want that look, you go for it. But personally, I don't like it on my face. Oh, I can't even realize you can't see me. See how I like go in and make little fake hairs? And it's all, I always go down on accident, but I fix it with concealer, so. Just kind of make little fake hairs. Sometimes it helps to go in with like a micro like pencil thing, like for your brows. I have one. I use it for my freckles, and I'll go in with that and create some more hairs. And I kind of push back to help it get underneath the hair. Then I kind of blend it out with my finger if it looks too dark right here. Create that like gradient look as more dark. That way it blends in with my actual hair. See? And then it'll look weird right now, but once I conceal it, it'll help it a lot. Fix my arch a little bit right here. Alright, I'm gonna go in with this one. Just kind of do the same thing. Start right at the bottom. I always like to create like that base shape so I know where to go from there. Then I go back up where the hair stops and just carefully, because this stuff is dark and you don't want it to smear too badly. just kind of go down. I have a mole right here, which helps me a lot because it'll tell me like where to arch it. Then I just go down and meet up with the shape. You got your shape, and then you just continue on darkening it. All right, now I'm gonna go in with concealer to help create more of a shape to my brow. And then I'll go in with powder to blend it all together so it doesn't look as whatever it's doing right now. I don't even know how to explain what it's doing. I use the e.l.f. 16-hour camo concealer because it's brighter than the concealer I use like right in my eyes and stuff like that. So I'm gonna pull out my septum that's bothering me and just go underneath and pray. I'll just pat it with my finger and pull down. See how it helped with the shape I had going on. It's raining. Just kind of pull it down all the way, and then I kind of right here, I'll drag down a little bit. I don't drag all the way down to my lid though, because I don't like how it looks when I do eyeshadow. Just kind of pat and blend down a little bit. See how it just creates that better arch. I always say my brows are cousins, they're not sisters. They look nothing remotely alike, but they got that little family trait going on. I'll take the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette in the middle shade. This one's the light to medium, I'm pretty sure, yeah. I'll take the middle shade and then take a brush that is slim. I'll just take the end of my eyeshadow brush and just dip into that middle shade and just pat it in there. I don't like to smear it. Just pat it in there. Then I'll go in with this micro ink pen, create little hairs. Like that. This is when I'm going to brush off this powder. And then I just take it and blend it all around my nose to help like a blur effect. Done. Eyeshadow, I'm doing something new, so it might take me a minute. I'm gonna start with like a neutral base, like these two, and a little bit of that, and go in for it. Just take like this fluffy eyeshadow brush. Don't bother me. There you go. I love Jeffree Star products. He knows what he's doing. Just kind of go in where my crease is and blend up. This is just a base, so it's gonna look weird for a minute. Try to get closer so you guys can really see what I'm doing. I'm gonna take a brush with no product on it and just kind of buff out everything. Fluff it more. There we go. Just kind of buff it out. Make it look more natural. I'm just gonna do the same thing to this side real quick. I mean, it's not gonna look natural. I mean, come on, I'm doing orange eyeshadow, but blending helps it look less like bam. Go back in with the no product one, just blend it out. I like to take it more like towards my temple in a way. And I'm like, yeah, it's my temple. It's this one and this one I'm gonna go in with. Just gonna put it where your crease is and just gradate up. Trying to get as close as I can, but until I have better equipment, this is how we're gonna be doing videos on an iPhone. I like weird eyeshadow, like that's not neutral and natural looking, and I like to stand out a little bit and just have fun. Just kind of pack it right in here along with the crease again. Just kind of go up with it. I'm gonna get another one that has no product on it and just brush it up. Pack it right in the corner. Kind of go up with it and then get your other brush and blend it out. Right now I'm gonna take like a little bit of like a dark red and go in with it, because in the picture it was kind of like a sunset-y cut crease. So I'm just gonna go in with a deeper red and orange and just kind of buff it out. Because it kind of creates that like deepening effect in your eye. So I just want to dip in there, put it in the spots I want it. Then I'm gonna take the brush with the no product wherever I put it, and then just kind of blend it up and out. I'm gonna take like a light orange and kind of blend everything up at the top that I've already done. Just kind of buff it out. I'm going to go in and start like cutting my crease. I take makeup remover and a Q-tip and cut it first, because like if I try to take the concealer and go in with it, it'll like make it like weird and muggy looking. So I like to take off the makeup that I have already there. Just kind of take it to the middle of my eye. Let's do the same thing to this one. Take it to the middle of the eye. And just wipe off everything you already have there. Then I take like the dry side of the Q-tip and just make sure that it's all dry for when I go to cut my crease. All right, I'll take a like kind of like a flat brush like that and go in with my e.l.f. 16-hour camo concealer. Just pat it on there nice and well and go in and lightly cut your crease. Kind of pat it in there. Off pat it down and create your shape. Just take my finger and go in like that. Alright, I'm gonna go in, and instead of adding like a neutral color, I'm gonna add like a light orange to make it kind of like a dreamsicle effect. I'm just gonna take like a flat brush like that and pat it in there. Just pat it in there. And then I'm gonna go in with a flat brush, another flat brush. Just kind of poke it in there and blend out. I'm gonna take a brush with no product on it and just kind of put a little bit of a light orange nude. Blend up all this and make it less harsh. My eyebrows, make sure all the concealer's off. I'm gonna go in with like a dark gray, black kind of color, just to add that deepening crease look. Kind of add it where I did my crease. Take a like eyeshadow brush and just buff that out. I'm going to add glitter like on the orange to help pop out. Glitter glue wherever I put her. There she is. I'm just going to take a concealer brush because it's literally the same consistency, and just pat it where I did the cut crease color. Just pat it lightly on there. I'm going to go in with like a white glitter and pat it on there. The same brush as the glue. So just lightly pat it on there. Like that. Just like that. Darker color and kind of help gradiate it inward. Like that. It's a lot better. Alright, now I'm going to take the same colors that I've been using underneath my eye, so it helps it gradiate and look better. Just kind of, I'm going to do like a darker one first. I'll get close so you can see. And just kind of like meet it under. Like that. I don't like doing a lot of that dark color because I don't want my eye to like just vanish. Just do the same thing over here. Anybody else make weird faces when doing makeup? Because I do all the time, and I'm like alright, then I'm gonna take like that light orange that I had and just blend out the bottom. Just get a brush that had the same color on it and just kind of blend it out. like that. The same thing to the other side. If you are still watching this, I'm sorry, but thank you. I just want to step out like my comfort zone and stuff because I feel like I've always wanted to do something like this. And I've always had like this fear and anxiety holding me back, so now I'm just kind of going for it. All right, that's it for that, but I'm gonna go in with some mascara. I like to use the Roller Lash by Benefit. It's literally one of the best I've ever used. It's a little expensive, but some things are worth it. I'm gonna go in and just prep my lashes for the fake lashes. Girl, make sure you clean off the top, because if not, you're gonna mess up your eyeshadow. It's not gonna be pretty. Like, you're gonna want to cry, because I do if I do that. All right, like that. I usually wait to do the bottom until after I put on my fake lash. That way they don't kind of stick together. Oh, gotta get my hair out of the way. I usually have my hair up in like a sloppy bun, but I wanted to look presentable as much as I could. Talking much, I just don't know what to talk about. Usually I'm like, I don't shut up if I know you. If I don't know you, I'm like a quiet little mouse and I don't say anything. But if I know you, sorry, because I usually do not shut up. I'm gonna take maybe the excess. Right now I'm gonna go in with some blush. I don't usually do a lot, but I go in with some. I like to hit like the tip of my nose and just kind of pat it on there like that. Especially with an eyeshadow like this, you gotta add some other color elsewhere and just kind of get like the apples of my cheeks and meet it with my nose. I like to pat it in there. So I feel like it holds better. I don't know. It just looks better when you pat it in instead of brushing it. Just kind of. Then I like to do a little bit up here where I did my contour. And a little bit on my chin just to blend out. Make it look more natural. So. Alright, now I'm gonna go in with some fake lashes. I usually reuse my lashes like a couple times. So this is from last time. I'm gonna take like a spoolie and brush out the hairs. Kind of brush out where I did mascara before on them, make them look more poofy. I like to use the Kiss brand at Walmart. It's one of the best. Like, they're really stepping their game up. I don't like the expensive ones. I feel like the band's too thick, if that makes sense. Like, I've tried like the other ones, but I don't like them. I've always gone back to the Kiss brand, like the natural, well, it doesn't look natural at all, but like the ones that aren't like $2. This one's like $5 or $6 for 2 pair, so it wasn't too bad. All right, then I just kind of let it get tacky before I go in with it, because if it's still wet, it'll move around and mess up your eyeshadow, and you don't want that. How's your day? How's your guys' Christmas? Mine's been eventful so far. With work, I feel like I keep missing work, which isn't fun, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do in the crisis, in the pandemic. All right, I just kind of take it and line it up. Sorry for that. My mom comes first. I don't care. If she's on the phone, I'll drop everything I'm doing. Because that woman is like a godsend. She's helped me out with so much. And I love that she loves Brittany, which is my girlfriend, by the way, if you don't know me that well. I'm gonna be copyrighted by singing that. I'm gonna be so upset. So I literally did a whole video last time, and it was so good. I was so confident in it. And I had music playing in the background. And they were gonna work with me and like mute it out, but like it would have muted out pretty much a lot of important information I was saying. Like this video, I feel like I did not even talk as remotely close as what I did the last one, which I apologize. I was home by myself last time, but now Brittany and Finn are here and I'm anxious, so I'm not saying as much. I always say stuff I don't mean to say. Like I'll be thinking of something and be talking about something else and say whatever I'm thinking or looking at. Like if I look at something and I'm talking to you about something, and like I'll be like, yeah, I'm putting on my blush even though I'm doing lashes because I'm looking at my blush. I was thinking. And now I'm gonna go in with my highlight while my lash is drying. I use the Becca highlighter. It's one of my favorites. I've used Jeffree's before, but this one just looks better for me. All right, I'm just gonna take it and go down my nose right here. And then at the bottom, just do a little dot. Not there yet. Just kind of pat it in. Just go up. And get the inner corners of my eyes. Brush down. Just kind of get it packed in there. I'm gonna take I don't really like using a fan brush for highlight. I use like a square one like this. Like, and just go in. Do above my brow. Do right here. I'm a person that likes a lot of highlighter. I like to be shining for the galaxy. And just do like a tiny bit on my chin. And my Cupid's bow. Do a little bit where I like baked underneath my contour there. Alright, I always take off my foundation when I do my lipstick because I don't like, it just looks gross. It's like chapped under there and everything, crusty. So I just take it off. Then I immediately go in with chapstick. That way my lips don't dry out. And like when you put your lipstick on, if it's like a matte lipstick, it will like set in the creases of your lips. And I just kind of massage it in, make sure it's in the cracks. All right. I'm gonna go in with a pinkish lip liner and just kind of, I overdraw so I get just a little bit underneath my lip. I use my tongue to push it out to help it like look poutier. See, like, it looks poutier. And just kind of, I put that line there to create like a, kind of like a bigger lip effect. And then just kind of, and it'll help you draw up here. And I do one right here, one right there, one right there, and a couple right there. It'll help it look more plumper. That makes. Then I'm gonna go in with like a brown color, because the only reason I didn't use that brown color is because it's way too thick to line See, if I go in and just kind of go over this. And then I'm gonna go in with some gloss, make it poppin'. Hopefully I can do it. And just do some in the middle. So I'm gonna go in and finish my lashes. I'll go back over just to help blend them, and then do the bottom. Like that. They look too thick. Just take your finger and like blend it out and get some of that product off. Like, and just, I wipe on my clothes because these are pajamas, I care less. All right, I think I'm gonna just do some freckles real quick and just kind of add some cuteness. Okay. Sometimes I do a lot, sometimes I just do the nose. It just depends how I feel that day. Sometimes I'll just take it everywhere where it looks natural. Like that. I'm done. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. But there will be more where that came from. This was just like a trial to see where I would get. So thank you for watching.